You are listening to the Ebony Covering Black America Podcast Network.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Two Gems on the Mic. I'm LD along with Tanisha, the Diva Mahomes. What's up, my girl?
Hey, you know what it is. It's always good over here in the home front.
All right.
But I'm telling you, I'm excited already. Let's jump in this bad boy because I seen a game last night. What?
All right, we're gonna get to that game. Let's start with the ones who finished off and we know where they're going, right? So
Right.
Aces versus Seattle Storm, right? And that's gonna be a tough one. My X factor for Seattle, for Seattle is Jewel Lloyd. Jewel Lloyd has just taken on a whole new thing where I'm going out here, I'm gonna play. I'm not waiting for it to come from somebody else. And that team is really clicking. Gabby Williams is in that lineup. They are clicking, right? But then you got the Aces, right? Asia. You got Chelsea Gray, who has just been off the charts. I think Asia has been playing great all season. I just don't even think she's had that bust out game yet. So,
Ash, and you may receive. This might be the one for her. I'm telling you. You don't be shocked. Don't be shocked. You know it's overdue.
Yeah.
Go out there and kill it. So it's damn sure in her. So it's definitely there. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see it.
Yeah, and I watched the interview and she was happy that they won and they moving on, but she wasn't happy with, she's like, we got to keep getting better. Keep getting better. They've got a great coach. Both of them. I love both. I like Noah Quinn for Seattle. I love Becky Hammond. Both of them good coach teams with great athletes, great ball players, smart ball players, some veterans on both teams. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a dogfight. You alluded to the game last night with Chicago.
Man, I'm watching the game and I'm like, okay, they trying to stay in it a little bit. They go on a run, right? And I'm like, did they get this mug down to 3? I'm like, what? What just happened? They went this, and then all of a sudden it was like Candace was like, get it together, people. Get it together, people. Yeah. Next thing I know, it's a 16-0 run. And I'm like, hey, let me run to the bathroom when I'm real quick. I get out the bathroom. I'm like, the game is over. Yeah. It is over. What happened when I was in the bathroom?
New York went on a run, and I give them that. They went on a run. That's a young team. They got a lot of potential. The fact that they made it to the playoffs was a good thing for them. So they got that playoff experience. They won that first game. It gave them some confidence.
Yes,
but what it did on the other side was it gave Chicago some fire.
Yep.
Because Chicago was like, oh, and Parker said it after the game when they interviewed. You got to keep your foot on the pedal
all the time.
You got to you got your foot in it. Keep your foot in the person's. Keep it in their net. And they let up in that game when it got close. The first game and they lost it. This game it got close. They flashed back to that first game and said, let's shut it down. Quickly started hitting stuff, just started falling. And like you said, New York at one point in the fourth quarter, it was at 4 minutes. They hadn't scored since the 9-minute mark.
That's crazy. And when and that's right around the time I came out the bathroom and I was confused. Yeah. I was like, what just happened?
They hurt themselves with turnovers.
What is going on?
Some of them were unforced turnovers. Some of them were turnovers where that pressure that Chicago was putting on them was just Chicago was hungry last night. And I'm not going to say the Liberty weren't hungry. They were hungry. They were just outmatched last night.
It was the turnovers. Veterans. Yeah. It was the turnovers for me. I mean, you can't turn the ball over when you play in that team. You cannot turn the ball, and you can't keep turning it over as if you've never turned over before. I mean, it seemed like they were working on how many times can we turn it over? Can we match the highest turned over in a playoff game? I don't know what was going on, but every time I turned around, somebody was running the opposite way with the ball. It was turnovers left and right, and that's what cost them. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Just turnovers.
So, yeah, and I'm going to make an apology because I sent this off to our producer. I spelled Abumawale's name wrong. So I apologize for that. But so we got Dallas playing, Dallas and good God, I'm losing it, right? Dallas and Connecticut are playing tonight. So Abumawale can come back. They haven't played with her because she has that abdominal, it's a long name. I can't figure out even what they call it, but abdominal injury. So Vicky Johnson switched up the whole starting lineup. They did very well. They came out, they came hungry. So it was listening to a couple of commentators, and I agree with what they were saying is don't throw a Boom Wale back in there. If you have her. That's your you ace in the hole. You have her. So you can use her if you need her. But if you don't need her,
Yep.
gotta ride the bench. But she's always a threat just being on the court. If she don't score a game, score a point, she's gonna attract some defense and she can help folks. So
Well, I'm definitely going. I'm definitely going for Vicky's team because Vicky and I go way back. Back when Vicky was playing with Louisiana Tech, long time ago, with some stories. I'm gonna keep them to myself. We had good times though. Good time, no crimes were committed, but we had some fun back in the day. And Vicky is a really good friend of one of my closest friends that I played basketball with back at TJC when we were some young bucks. But yeah, I'm definitely going for him. I'm gonna be cheering louder than I ever cheered for any WNBA game because that's my friend. So I'm excited. Can't wait. We're gonna wrap this one up early so I can make sure that
yeah,
that I'm
yeah,
fully prepped. That I'm
she's
fully prepped.
yeah, she's done. I mean, she's done a great job with that team.
Oh yeah.
And Connecticut has always been there. It's just I don't know what it is that is missing with Connecticut. I can't figure that out. So for me, I'm like, if they can get over the hump, they look really flat the other night. And the Dallas Wings, they came out with a whole different mindset, like they should have, because that was win or go home. And they were like, we're taking it back to the house. So now they
That's
are
right.
home. They have the home court advantage now. And if they take advantage of that, they can move on to the next round. Now, moving on to the next round means they're going to meet up with Chicago. Whole different set of, issues there.
Yeah, but you got to get over that first hump before we can worry about Chicago. We got to get we got to get there. We got to get over this first hump, and nothing's guaranteed. You know what I mean? I'm hoping, and like I said, I'll be cheering for them, but it's no guarantee.
I think whoever meets up, I'm not counting Chicago out. I still see Chicago in the championship game. I just don't know who's coming out of that other tournament out of that other contest between the Aces and the Storm. But it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. The one thing again, I'm gonna say it. I am so happy that they changed the format, but I wish the first round was also 5 games because then that gives the other team an opportunity. You go to somebody's house, lose 2 games, you go home. You never get an opportunity to go back to your house. So if you make it 5 games, then you got at least you can get at least one in your house. Absolutely. And for your fans. So I think doing that maybe they'll go to that. Yeah.
And everybody knows that having your home, being there, having your home fans and stuff, that puts something up on you. I don't know. It's something about when you walk in there and they cheering and everybody's for you and it's your house. I don't know. It just feels like you play harder. You know what I mean? You're at home. You're more relaxed. So I mean, that's only fair in my opinion. So yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break and we're gonna come back and talk some NFL. We'll see you in a few. All right, we are back. We're talking some NFL. So this is the last week for the of the preseason games. A lot happening. Some stuff we're still waiting to see what happens. Some cuts coming next week, I believe, on the 30th. Get down to that 53-man roster. Tom Brady is back.
Hey, he had to go home and take care of some business. I don't know exactly what happened at home, but Tom was like, hey. Hey, she's real understanding, but it's time for me to go back to the house real quick. So I love the fact that he actually did take time for his family. He's at least got his priorities straight. Hey, it's time for me to go. I'm going to the house. Everybody knows Tom is ready. Everybody knows that Tom can teach the game. So we're not worried about Tom. Tom ain't miss a beat. Matter of fact, it probably did him good not to get pushed a little bit. Right. You know what I mean? So yeah, so Tom is fine. I'm happy he's back. I love I love the fact that he's not willing to stop yet. He's not willing to quit. He's not willing to give up. He's still trying to get another Super Bowl, and I'm happy for him. I mean, I really am. I'm happy that he will eventually be able to leave when he wants to leave. Won't be forced out. So I'm happy for Tom. So I'm glad to see him back in camp. And
if he had something canceled, if he had something playing with the family, he did right by the family. They were expecting that because they thought he was going to retire. So absolutely understand that. So I mean, what, the man 140 years old?
Exactly.
Give him his time.
in 22 days. In 22 days. Exactly.
Right.
Man, yeah, dude is out there. But let's talk about I know we got a lot of competitions. Well, we got a couple of competitions going on. We had the Panthers competition. We had Seattle, and we got Pitt now.
Right.
Pitt was unforeseen though. I don't think we walked in thinking it was a battle between Mason and Mitch, but it's a battle going on in there. But I'm gonna jump in and tell you right now with this, I'm still Team Mitch on it, and let me tell you why. Mitch is playing against the first stringers. Okay, let's be clear about that. It's a difference between the first string and the third string. I know old boy looks great, Pickett. I know he looks great, but I'm not jumping on that train yet.
Right.
They brought Mitch in for a reason. He went to Buffalo last year. He sat behind Allen. He learned from the coaches, learned from the staff, and I think he is really ready to be a starter again. So I'm sticking with what I said in my first mind, which is Mitch is going to be the day one starter.
You said the first mind, not the second one?
Not the second one, or the third one. Yeah, along with the third eye. None of that. I'm just sticking with the first one. Exactly. Yeah. And I do believe Mitch is going to be day one starter. I think he's a veteran at this point, and he understands. He's a hard worker. No one's ever complained about Mitch's work ethic. He was there in the offseason when, when we lost Haskins. He was there. He was a part of that whole. So he's been working from day one. He's in the system. He's learned the system. I feel like he has the upper hand no matter what you see on these. No matter what you see on these preseason games. Right. Absolutely.
And I agree with you 100% on when they start talking about, he look great. I'm like, it's the fourth quarter and you got some guys that are not even going to be on the team next week that he's playing against. So
exactly
that's where I kind of get where, you run a good route, you do this, you do that, you catch the ball. I'm looking more at the guys on the other side of the ball that are catching those, but still you're not playing against that number one defense. So you put them up against that number one defense. Are you going to do the same thing? Now, Baker Mayfield, he did get confirmed, but we still got an issue out there in Seattle.
Well, yep, Geno and Drew. Drew Lock, I think Drew Lock had COVID. I feel like by default, Geno's going to win this battle. I mean, Drew's been sick. He hasn't really been able to go out there and participate. So whether or not they really wanted to start Geno, I think Geno is going to start that first week by default. And it's probably his, after that, after you step out on this field, it's your job to lose. So I'm going with Geno on that. I'm predicting it's going to be Mitch. Obviously, we already know about Baker, and I'm going with Geno as a starter.
Okay. I'm with that also. I am a big Drew Lock fan.
I know you are.
I don't know what it is about that kid. It's like his personal. I loved him when he was in. I think it was that time I saw him when he was on the side on the bench, just rocking and jamming. I fell in love with him because he looked like he was having fun. So I'm a fan of his. I wish all of them had an opportunity to play somewhere, but I think they did say that Geno's going to be starting, but Drew Lock will play most of the game on Friday night. I believe that's their game. I know I didn't jot it down for any notes or whatever, but I want to bring it out there. I watched a couple of games with Daniel Jones, and you know me. I mean, if you look behind me, I bleed blue. I'm a Giants fan, and I've been riding Jones for the last couple of years. I'm at a point I know he's the day one. You got Tyrod Taylor behind him, which we always feel that this dude, if it wasn't for bad luck, he wouldn't have no luck.
What? Preach. You know I love me some Tyrod.
Yeah.
But man, you talking about any man to go in to get a shot and get his lung punctured. Come on, man. Don't want to choke you out over there. But come on. That's tough. That's hard right there. I
Yeah.
mean, dude is out there. He never quits. He's got a positive attitude. He's showing up on time. He's pretty much the, if you were making a quarterback with work ethic and what you need to do and how you need to present yourself, you probably can't find one better than
No,
Tyrod.
no, but this is the last chance for Daniel Jones for me, because if this, just like we had to get coaches out of there,
Yeah.
he has got to do it. He looked good. The O line looked good, so everybody needs an O line. We had some issues with that last year, but if you got an O line and you can't find people, and you go a whole season and somebody like Kenny Galladay does not score a touchdown, that's a problem.
Well, here's my problem with it. I done read article after article after article about how you guys are willing to get rid of any wide receiver, right? Any wide receiver. I mean, Darius Slade, anybody. This guy started, what, he had 700-yard seasons or something right out of the gate. But you're ready to get rid of him, but you're not looking at the quarterback.
Right.
Everybody's production has gone down. You bring in Galladay. Dude apparently forgot how to get to score. Come on, man. Something's got to give. And I'm going to tell you something else. They need to give Davis Webb a shot at something. This guy is grinding. He's playing good,
but again, he's
third
playing
string.
third string.
Third string.
So, third string. So the same thing. So, I could beat
I'd
that
like to see him.
That's my team, but
Yeah.
next
And I
week
can
I'll let
beat you
talk
for it.
about- and next week I'll let you talk about your team, but you gotta have something to, something to display. Represent.
If I'm looking correctly, don't they look like my nephew on that box of cereal you got back there in the back?
Yeah, he's gonna get some love.
All right, I'm just making sure. Like you say you bleed blue, but that's pretty damn red.
But you see a whole lot of blue up there.
Yeah, it's a lot of blue. I ain't gonna front. I mean, you have to be wearing a red shirt, but I'm just saying.
We have red uniforms too. We do have red uniforms. But Patrick's gonna get his props.
He gonna get his props.
Oh, hell, I throw a Big Pat hat up there. I throw a Mets hat up there. I got one of them signs. So
well,
he's
New York, so that was New York. So I'm letting you slide. Yeah.
Let's talk about Lamar.
Ooh, I'm gonna talk about it.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm tired of people saying the man is messing up. Let me be clear. Lamar is not doing this by himself. It's not Lamar and his mama. It's Lamar, his mama, and a whole bunch of lawyers that do contract work. And they are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. They're saying, we want $235 million. We know we're not going to get $235 million. I'm pretty sure that they're not going to get $235 million. But if they get $230 million, all guaranteed, are we going to be talking about Lamar should hire an agent? No. Don't compare Lamar to Kyler. I don't want to hear no Kyler talk. What has Kyler done in the NFL that Lamar hasn't?
Yeah. No,
they both won Heisman's.
Right. I agree with you. 1,000% on that. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know if the numbers that the Ravens are putting on the table, if they're that far apart.
It's guaranteed money.
I have no idea what it is. So if it's guaranteed money, then that's the way things are going now. Absolutely. People are getting guaranteed money. So you got to, you got to get on board, or you got to let the guy go, and you ain't letting him go.
Well, what I do know is I lived in Maryland from 96 to 2019. And what I know about that place is when you get accustomed to winning, losing is not acceptable.
No.
And you saw what happened when Lamar went down at the end of the season last year, right? When they win like 1 out of the last 6 games.
Yeah.
So what's the problem?
No, he's proven that he's the guy. So I think they need to they're gonna have to get it together. They're definitely going to get it together. Let's talk about a couple of injuries we got going on here with some top players. Aaron Stanley, Bucks guard, tore both ACL and MCL. He out
season.
Right. My boy, Kayvon Thibodeau, sprained knee. They said that the hit was legal or whatever. Okay, it's legal. I think it was kind of dirty. Preseason game, you going after somebody that low. If you look at it, it looked like it was legal. The NFL came back, which don't mean much. Yeah. But the NFL came back and said it was a totally legal hit or whatever. But, you can end somebody's career with that.
It felt dirty. It felt dirty to me.
It looked dirty. I'm a Giants fan. It was like, come on, really?
I'm trying not to think that the guy would do something dirty, but it just felt dirty.
Yeah.
I mean, because you see You see, Kayvon getting ready to, to get to absorb the hit, and then all of a sudden you see like the dude just folded up,
He
like
folded up.
it's just like, wait a minute, hold up, wait a minute, I ain't come
Folded
out here
up.
I didn't come out here to get hit.
No, he folded up like like a lawn
What?
chair,
What?
like a
And
lawn chair.
I was like, I don't know about that. And I could have sworn I saw Kayvon on the sideline saying I got ready to hit him, and he dipped down on me or whatever.
And maybe the dude didn't want to take that hit from him, and so
Hey,
maybe I'm not. Was it
hey,
malicious? Okay, I'm not gonna say because I don't know what the guy's
nah, I
thoughts
don't
was,
think
so I'll take it back. I don't think it was malicious. I just thought it was just a horrible hit. Wasn't
just a
thinking, but it
little
was just
dirty,
a little. Yeah, we give it a
little
little
dirty.
dirty. Wasn't illegal. He ain't getting fined, so
I'm
we
giving
go from there.
I'm giving
Chase Young,
four on the dirty stick,
and
four on the dirty stick.
okay, and for me,
Oh man,
I like Chase Young. I like Chase Young since he was at Ohio State. Want to see him play. I hate for anybody to be out, but they waiting for him to get 100% before he comes out. So he's out for the first 4 games. I'm hoping that we playing them within those first 4 games, so we don't have to deal with him. I have to go back and look at the schedule, so I'm not really sure.
And I believe Detroit's line Jameson, their young guy Williams is out for 4 games as well.
Right, they're making sure he's healthy because he tore his ACL in that championship game.
In that
That's
championship game,
wide
man, that was
receiver
horrible.
from Alabama. Yeah, that was horrible. But yeah, he's young dude, so he'll pop back from that. Let's move on from there. So sad news today for Chiefs fans, and not just Chiefs fans, for football fans.
Absolutely.
For football fans. NFL Hall of Famer Lynn Dawson died at the age of 87. Big loss for that organization, and like I said, for a football over, he was in the Hall of Fame as a player, and he was in the Hall of Fame as a broadcaster. And one of the things I laugh every time I see it because that meme is so crazy.
Right? How about I just smoke a cigarette at halftime and drink a beer and go out there and win? What?
I mean, it was like they were talking about he's one of the most accurate ever. He has records, all that stuff. But it was nice too because he showed up when Pat
when Pat broke his record.
Yeah,
he did. He showed up and he clapped. He was he was so a Chiefs Kingdom. You know what I mean? Like, and everybody went nuts when he showed up. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was gritty. That was gritty what he was doing back in the day. It was like
it was the way. It was the way he was smoking it. It looked like you ever seen some real smokers when they eat a good meal when they eat a good meal and then they pull, they like this is the best cigarette ever. That's what he looked like in that locker room. He just man, I'm finna go out here and get him.
Let me go out and get this over with. Like it was nothing. And I mean that kind of confidence, you call it cocky, arrogant, whatever you want to call it. But he stood behind it. He stood behind it. So prayers to his family, friends, the whole Chiefs organization. Prayers out to them.
They love him. They love him up there. They love him. Let me tell you, he's missed.
Yeah. So we're going to end the NFL part with that. And we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about something we're going to circle back on something that we talked about last week.
Absolutely.
We'll be back. We are back. So Tanisha, I'm gonna let you run with this one. I'm just gonna set you up. So we talked about the Manti Te'o Netflix documentary. It should have been his name, but it was called the girlfriend that didn't exist, or whatever. A lot of people watched it. A lot of feedback from it. A lot of commentary from people that hey, the world owes this guy an apology. But I mean, I followed it when it was going on. Nobody knew. I never myself passed judgment about what was, because to me it wasn't that important to me at that time. It didn't matter. But after watching this story, I mean, give me a little bit more on that.
I talked about it. It brought me to tears. Watching him cry at the end really did bring me to tears. But I was just thinking about this today, and mental health. We're just now starting to really allow people to come out and deal with those things. And he talks about his mental health in that documentary, and how in such a poor state he was. I mean, the way he described it almost sounds like panic attacks as well as
Mm-hmm.
anxiety. And his mental, and he was a football player, so he wasn't quite sure what to do. Back then you weren't going around yelling you had mental health issues,
Right.
and and I really thought about that today because people were asking me about it at work. Oh, I watched I watched the Manti Te'o story you told me to watch. But another thing that caught me was I watched the end again, and I remember there's this one little section where he basically says, that you have to learn how to forgive yourself, and then he says, hey, if Renaya watches this, I forgive her, blah, I forgive him, but let him know he was forgiven as well. And it occurred to me because a lot of people have been complaining about her lack of remorse. She seemed unremorseful. She seemed like she didn't get it, that she had ruined someone's life. But the more and more I love documentaries. The more and more I looked at it, I
Mm-hmm.
started thinking it seemed like they did separate interviews. Like they went over to Renaya, which is now Naya, because I believe is she
She's
transgender,
transgender. Mm-hmm.
and they did a whole, and they got her story, and then they got a Teo's story, and they kind of spliced everything together. So you get this sort of why did you do it, which is kind of what I feel like they asked her, what was the reason behind it, and she kind of laid out what she did and why she did it. But what she didn't do was apologize to how her actions affected, I mean, not ruined because he's still here, but it really did shorten his career. It caused him, mental stress. It caused his family embarrassment, the school embarrassment. Manti was embarrassed. It caused a lot of pain, and I would have liked to see her at least acknowledge the damage that she had done, and she didn't do that.
And I think part of it too is the way the story, or the way I perceived the way she was telling the story, was more about from her perspective. I don't even know if she, maybe after watching this, she's looked at his perspective, but it was more of what he was going through at the time. Now her telling the
Right.
story, so it was just it was different. But what I got out of it, and a lot of I got from other people, is people passing judgment. And the media, they were horrible. He was on shows asking, are you gay? Are you a part of this? Are you this? Are you that? And Deadspin themselves, who released the story, they said nobody ever went back and fact checked. They just took what they had and they
And
ran
roll with
with
it.
it. And
Hmm.
and one of the, like I said, one of the reporters said, just as quick as the media will build you up, they will break you down.
Yeah.
And that's what they did to that young man. But I loved what he said about people have to learn how to forgive, and you forgive others and you forgive yourself. So um
Yeah, he
that's
is in he is in my prayers. I love the fact that he's got a wife and a family. He looks like he's moved on to a happier chapter in his life. He seems to be thriving. I mean, I
faith.
checked, yeah, and his faith was woo everlasting, and I think that's the probably the most important part of the puzzle that got him through that low place in his life.
Yep.
I a huge fan of his now as a person. The resilience that it took to keep your head up strong and keep on going through when everybody seemed to turn against you.
Yep.
I'm hoping that he has the most amazing part two chapter of his life, and he does deserve an apology.
Yep. From many.
He
And most of
does.
them won't speak up. They'll
They
speak as
never will.
though they never said anything
But it's
about
more
it.
than one
But
way to make it right, Linda. In the Notre Dame, put him on the staff. Somebody put him in a booth. It's more than one way. At this point, he's retired now. I'm pretty sure he's probably moved on from the game. But it's more than one way to make
oh
it
yeah.
right.
Oh
Come
yeah.
back and appreciate him. Let him know. Yeah, we messed up, and this is our way of at least making
Yeah.
an attempt to make it right. It's
Yeah.
more than one way
Everybody
you can
that
do
wanted
it.
to interview him when they thought he was doing something wrong because they thought they had a scoop, those are the same people that should be coming back to interview him now.
Right now,
Yep.
absolutely.
So we'll see what happens with that. But give me your closing thoughts on this week in sports, this week in
Um,
life, whatever you want to talk about.
this week in life. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I want to talk about DraftKings because you know how I feel about it. Okay, I'm in deep already. I mean, I got about 400 lineups that I gotta fill in. I mean, I'm researching. I mean, I got people asking me to play regular fantasy. I'm too embedded right now. I got my research on injury reports and everything. So for all you DraftKings lovers, all you FanDuel lovers, all you Yahoo people, get on YouTube and go check out Awesome Mo. Some of these guys out here that are out here putting these podcasts that might make your life a little bit easier. That's my week. That's what I got planned on.
I
That's
tell
what I
you
got
what,
planned.
Tanisha, you
Playing.
drive me. It's hard watching a game with you because you
What?
start going through what player needs to do what, and it's like, oh my God, I'm trying to. And we go like we talk from 1 o'clock
Yes,
to
ma'am.
that last game to take a break, and then we back on that
Back.
evening game, and I'm like, it's almost like I need to take every Monday off.
You might. It's not. This is not the year that it gets better. Let me give you
Okay,
heads up right now.
all
It's
right,
not getting better this year, and I won, so I got the go ahead now to keep going. You feel me?
all
I
right.
done brought some ducats in the house, so now I'm really in. Now I really think I'm unbeatable. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun season. I'm excited, but it's just more outside of the wagering part. It's just the excitement of getting to know all the players that I actually know them, but just every team around them, all the reports, everything. It just keeps you informed. I'm a lover of sports,
Yeah.
so if they talking, I'm trying to hear. So there it is.
Okay. All right.
So what about you?
All right. For me, I'm just all excited about basketball, about WNBA, all that's going on, getting really pumped up for the season. Life is good,
Yep.
we're blessed, we're here. So, like we say, what's the saying? If we what, Tanisha?
If we talking about it, you need to hear about it.
And
Absolutely.
of course, again, I have to always continue to shout out the Blue Crew because they are just giving us
Help,
much love
man.
on Twitter, and we really appreciate it. So we're gonna continue to shout them out. And the other thing with the Blue Crew, if folks don't know what it is, go follow them on hashtag Blue Crew. You can follow them. These people talking about voting. They're talking about voting for the right things that people need, and we just got to get away from so much just politics and this. Let's do the right thing. We need people in places that are going to do the right thing, take care of their constituents, take care of their people, and
Absolutely.
not just up there for themselves. So that's my thought for the week. Vote. It's coming. It's going to be on us. It's going to be on us quick. And
Absolutely.
with that being said, remember, until the next time, be kind, be blessed.
You are listening to the Ebony Covering Black America Podcast Network.